Another goddamn frustrating night from the most frustrating franchise that ever existed in the NFL. The New York Jets, the pathetic New York Jets, who had a team that they were better than across the board, with a quarterback who is, nobody knows who the hell this guy is. I mean, he's playing decent. A brand new coach. And the Jets just get outplayed everywhere but on defense. I am so sick and tired of this. And how many weeks do we go before something changes? Why is Zach Wilson still in the game? Believe it or not, he didn't have the worst game, but goddamn, he threw an interception. He fumbled the ball. Again, fumbled the ball. Zach Wilson either needs to be known as the field goal man. You'd think that'd be a kicker. But no, Zach Wilson is the king of getting you field goals. Or he's the fumble man. What is that, 8, 9 fumbles? It's getting so ridiculous, so pathetic. I can't even, it's so hard to deal with as a fan of a team where it's just constant excuses. And I've been through the Rich Kotite era. I've been through the bad years. I saw the Jets go 3-13. I saw the Jets go 1-16. But at that point, you're like, what can you do? You know the team sucks. But the Jets have a good team. They probably have top 3 defense in the NFL. And it's all going to waste. Greg Zuerlein and the special teams and Thomas Morstead are going to waste. Quincy and Quinnen Williams are going to waste. Sauce, DJ Reed are going to waste. Johnson's going to waste. Mosley's going to waste. How many guys have to suffer where we just sit there and let the shitty coaching staff, and I don't mean obviously not defensive coordinator, I'm talking mainly Nathaniel Hackett. He had 2 plays in this game where I was like, oh, wow. He had the end around that end, of course, gained us a bunch of yards and got called back on penalties. We'll get to that. And then they had the one where Zach threw it backwards to Garrett. Garrett overthrew Lazard like Lazard was going to catch it anyway. But regardless, I believe it was Lazard. He had him open. A good pass would have got. But once again, I can't blame Garrett Wilson for that. He's not a quarterback. It was a trickery play. But other than that, it was literally, I feel like for the first half of football, first down run, second down run, third down pass. It was so frustrating to watch. And even when you had a 9-3 lead, at no point, even though you have an amazing defense, seriously, the Jets scored 9. I looked at my wife, I'm like, holy crap, 9 points in the first half. That's more than they scored all last week. So I'm thinking, going into halftime, I'm thinking we can at least put another 3 on the board. Maybe another 6. The penalties. Zero discipline on this team. Every single time. I started writing a few notes in the beginning of the game. By halftime, I was so frustrated that I got a few over, and one of them just says, Hackett sucks. The opening drive. We're moving down the field, or we're moving ahead. Zach Wilson, just intentional grounding. Play or drive dead. Then we had another drive towards the end of the first quarter, and Uzama gets hit with a penalty. And then later in the game, Uzama gets hit again with a penalty, twice destroying drives. So that's 3 I've mentioned. There were more. I mean, I have a few little notes here, but there were more. It was constant. It was constant last week. It was constant the week before. Anytime they start getting anything going, penalty, and you can almost set your fucking watch to it. How many weeks do we have to watch this? Seriously. Zach Wilson did do okay. He had some good passing. Once again, receivers dropping balls that were put right in their hands. And Zach had 2 great runs in this game. And a couple weeks ago, when I had mentioned I'm gaining a little confidence in Zach, it was because of how much he seems to want it. Against the Eagles, he had like a 10-yard run, and he just fought. He just ran. He was like, I'm getting this first down. And he had 2 great runs today. I'm not going to take that away from him. But damn, we need Trevor Siemian. We need someone to be on the sidelines who can come in and spark this offense, because no one that you put behind Zach can be that worse than Zach, statistically. So even if it's just the fake like spark of a team, like, okay, it's a new life being breathed in, we need something to happen. Once again, we get embarrassed. Even when it was like a close game in the third quarter, fourth quarter, I was saying to myself, even if we win this game, it's another goddamn game that even if we win, we're going to feel like we lost. It's not going to feel like a win. This was the game that Zach could open it up. Do you really think that this Jets offense is going to go into fucking Buffalo or Miami? Or go to Buffalo and at home against Miami and beat those teams? Neither of those teams are that good, by the way. Miami's completely overrated, and Buffalo is like meh. But they could both beat the Jets because the Jets can't score. So I'm not sitting here as a Jets fan being like, my team's better than your team. I'm not fucking delusional. But they're not as good as they look. Well, everyone knows the Bills aren't as good as they're supposed to be. Miami, they really aren't that good. As soon as they come across an actual defense, they have problems. But the Jets have zero offense. So I expect the Dolphins to beat us 14-9, 14-6. If we're going to stick with Zach Wilson, I expect us to lose. The Bills, we're not having that magic again. I don't think it's going to happen. I'll be back later in the week, Thursday night. I know there's things that I didn't think of or that I wrote down or that I have to. But another thing real quick, was Chris Collinsworth at points seem outwardly cheering for the Raiders? Or is that just me? Once again, I mean, honestly, congratulations to the Raiders. This new coach, this new quarterback has breathed life into the team, and I can't take that away from them. I can't take that away from them. But the Jets have once... Hackett needs to change shit up. I'm starting to think the only reason Hackett was good was because he was playing, and I'm not even going back to when he was on the Jaguars. I'm saying in the past, I don't know, 5-10 years, he sucked he sucked without Rodgers. He sucked on the Broncos, and he sucked now without Rodgers on the Jets. I'm thinking that as an offensive coordinator, he literally just stands there and goes, hey, Rodgers, what do you want to do? Rodgers tells him, then make Rodgers the offensive coordinator. Let's see what happens. Get a backup for Zach that can come in the game and spark the team. I'll be back on Thursday for the actual next episode of why I hate the Jets, but I think this is another pretty good example of why I've spent 40 years learning to hate this goddamn team. I'm Midnight Mike, and I'll see you on Thursday.